So first and foremost, I appreciate everyone jumping on here. For those of you, I see there's some new faces here. For those of you that don't know quite who I am Ian Smith. I am a loan officer at Rate/North Group Mortgage. And for today, as part of my topic of conversation for my Tuesday chats, we're going to talk about co-marketing and what that means, what you can use that for to help your business, so on and so forth. So let me let Danny in real quick, and then I will get going with the slides here. All right, so for anyone that's new, you may have heard the term, but you may not be fully aware of what it is. So co-marketing, essentially, it's where we create some marketing material with both of our names on it, you as the agent, me as the lender, and we brand that, put it together with something that's relevant to what you're trying to demonstrate for your buyers, your sellers, so on and so forth, and we put it out there. The benefits of doing this is it shows some credibility, it provides information, it gives additional exposure, and by having professionally done marketing flyers, a lot of times that can just look better than maybe something that's generated explicitly with AI. For those of you that have been on my AI call, I do like AI, but some of these flyers and whatnot, they're very well done, look really clean, and they're very easy to hand out at various types of events. So it's good to be able to do it and have the option. We love to do co-marketing as lenders because it allows us to promote things together. Our business is very intertwined. As a lender, you all as a realtor, it's very hard for us to do our jobs separately. So, promoting ourselves together helps both of us. It helps put your name out there more, my name out there more. And when you succeed, I succeed, and we all succeed in getting more clients into homes. Now, one of the good things about having co-marketing and being able to do a lot of co-marketing opportunities is consistency. The more you put out, the more likely someone's going to see something. I'm sure for all of you who have, gone through some form of training or coaching or whatever, consistency is key. And, having co-marketing set up, so that you can be able to consistently put out new content is very helpful in delivering on that consistency, especially because it's already ready to go, right? And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. My goal is always to make you look good. So I'm not really going to put myself on something I don't really believe in. So I try to make sure that the marketing that I put out is good quality, it's high level. I don't just click on the fastest flyer to generate. I always want to make sure that what I put out is something that's going to provide a value for you, a value for me, and most importantly, a value for our clients. So at Rate, we call our co-marketing Agent Advantage, and it's actually a full site that you're going to have access to. I do a lot of the generating of the marketing itself, but you have access to a site that does a lot of things. So first and foremost, we can generate property flyers. We can generate single property sites, which I'll talk about in a little bit. There's growth tools like lead capture, market data, CRM, and follow-up tools to help keep more business flowing through your pipelines. This is free from us here at Rate. So, Rate is a very big company nationwide. They have a very big budget, and one of our main focuses is on you. We want to make sure that you all are able to take advantage of opportunities, and we give you all tools so that you can find more business and advertise yourselves more out there. Co-branded flyers are the most rudimentary and basic thing that we do. But they're very helpful, right? A lot of you all are going to be doing open houses. A lot of you all are going to be doing seller workshops. You're going to be doing buyer workshops. You're going to be doing seller presentations, so on and so forth. And so we can create flyers in literally seconds. I actually generated this about a month or so ago for Kelly DeRizio. It probably took me 2 minutes from the start of her asking me to do it and the time it was delivered. It pulls information like our website. When we do the flyers that are for open houses or specific listings, we can pull directly from the MLS. So your description, your price, everything comes straight to the flyer, and then I can do the lending part on it. so that we can have something to show, buyers that come into the open house, maybe what the payments might look like, so on and so forth. And that part, again, takes a couple seconds. It's just a click for me. So you have, let's just say you have a listing for this upcoming weekend on Saturday, and you reach out to me on Thursday, say, Ian, I got a listing on Saturday. I'm going to do an open house for it. What can you get me? This is a very small example of what I can provide. And again, I want to emphasize I can do it rather quickly. I'm going to take you to the website where we can kind of just walk through some of the flyer options that are there. But you pretty much think it has it. There's like 900 options of different things that can be done. Beyond the template flyers, I also do custom. I do custom with my marketing team and also with AI. So depending on what your needs are, we may decide to go one route or the next. For bigger events, I like to do things through the marketing team just because, it's going to look a little bit more polished, professional. But for very small things, sometimes AI is the best way to go. So if you have something that you have a need for and you want to throw the idea out to me, I'll take that and see what we have that's already on within the co-marketing space. And if it doesn't exist, then we'll create it out of AI or we'll ask the marketing team to do it. Also, something that I feel the need to mention is that part of marketing is not just flyers, it's also video content. So, for any of you all that want to host, like a podcast, for example, I did one with Matt Levy about a month ago. He reached out to me and said that he had a home buyer workshop that he kind of wanted to do a video for. So we did that. And, that's something that you all can use to pin on your Facebooks, your Instagram reels, so on and so forth. So you can show, people that are following you that you have a message to deliver on, home buying or selling or whatever. And, we can script kind of what we want to talk about in that and use that to promote your business. Also, social media posts. I do have, some social media selections that we can choose from within our CRM and our marketing portal. So for various things that we can co-brand, we can do that together. So if you want to have stuff hit your, Instagram feed or Facebook, if that's something that you like to do, then we can talk about what that looks like for each of you. Now, one of the cool things that I've always found is single property sites. Now, Ring is not unique in having a single property site. I've had this opportunity to build out these sites at pretty much every company I've ever worked with, but I love them. They're tried and true, and there's a reason that everyone offers them. So if you reach out to me again and say, Ian, I have a listing, I'd like to promote it. In addition to the flyers, in addition to potential social media that we do, we can also do the single property site. And again, this pulls information directly from the MLS. So whatever you put into the system with MLS and logged is how we can build this out. And so what it'll do is it'll create a website specifically for your listing where you can view the details, the gallery, a virtual tour, and schedule a visit. Now, this schedule and a visit will go directly to you, so you will be the one that gets reached out to, and you can share this link amongst your feed, for promoting the listing. I'll be honest, agents that present something like this to a seller versus agents that don't are typically not going to or typically going to win the listing over. This is not a revolutionary feature by any means, but it is something that if you're not doing at minimum, you're probably not going to get the listing unless you just have a seller who's not interested in talking to too many realtors. So this is something that's super easy to do. It takes me all of 1 minute to generate. I just need a little bit of help from you logging the MLS part first, so it needs to hit the MLS for this to be generated. But this is something that you can absolutely use to promote, your listings, and then again make your sellers happy and ultimately get your home sold. And so one of the things I wanted to do was just kind of share what that looks like. So this is the Twin Flower Lane listing here. So again, we can go to view details. We can even customize what you would like on the website, so it doesn't have to be what's on the MLS, but this is what pulled through. So we have this very nice listing. We have the gallery. It shows all the pictures as a slideshow. And then again, we have virtual tours. that clients can click through and then scheduling a visit. So, this is something that I think, again, it's very easy for us to generate. And so it's almost like, why not do it? And so this is one of the very basic parts of the co-marketing. And again, this is called single property sites. So things that move the needle as part of the agent advantage. So we have a past client radar. So for you all, as you start working with me and we get closings under our belts, as part of your agent advantage portal, you will have a past client radar. So we will get alerts if the client ever re-enters the market. So this is like credit pools, things of that nature. We will get them, and so will you. And so we'll all know that they're interested in buying a home or something like that, and so we can all keep but we can keep in touch with them so that they can be our clients for life. We also have a complimentary CRM for you all. Now I know most of you probably have a CRM that you're already using, and that's okay. But for those that don't, if you're new and you haven't quite decided on a CRM, or you maybe don't want to have the cost, that is part of the agent advantage. You can use that. We have the open house lead capture. So in your portal, you'll be able to host open houses, and you can check in guests on a iPhone, iPad, laptop if you want. And it's a lead capture portal that feeds directly to the CRM. Once you have people within your portal, you'll be able to do drip campaigns. There's also local market data. I know that you already pay for access to this information, but there's additional information that we may be able to look at your data and this data and use that to be more robust when you're making pitches and presentations for your buyers and sellers. And also there's direct mail postcards. So if you want to customize some postcards to send to past clients that we've worked with, that are in our database, you can do that. That's a great way to stay top of mind. I'm sure many of you have an insurance agent that you've worked with on your homes that probably sends you a postcard for Christmas or 4th of July or something like that. This type of marketing is honestly what's working right now. Going back to kind of old school and doing the direct mail is starting to get a lot more traction than it used to. So that's part of that portal. I also co-host events. As I mentioned, I did a workshop with Matt Levy. So if you have an event that you're interested in hosting, we can talk about the practicality of it, what we can offer from our standpoint, and can help with planning. I actually have an entire team at my company that literally that's all they do is planning for events. So we can kind of take a lot of load off. We just need an idea of budget, what you're looking for, and then we can get that churned out. I also provide, broker open supports. So if you, want to have, me on standby for, a broker open to be able to answer mortgage questions that are there, I'm always happy to do those types of things. Obviously, I have a schedule, and a heads up is typically necessary. It's pretty rare that I'm last minute available, but if we talk about it with enough advance timing, I can typically plan it out. As part of Agent Advantage, we do have an agent community. There's like a Facebook group and all the things. And so you can join that and talk to other agents, people who are in the industry for maybe a little bit longer or in different markets. You can kind of bounce back ideas, things that are working, not working, all that. We also have neighborhood reports. Again, I know that you all have this data with different services that you use, but again, comparing the services can sometimes be helpful. There's playbooks and all the things within this website, so you can look at coaching content. I know a couple of you all are new here, and so coaching is super helpful. I'll be honest, I started my career out without coaching, and then I did coaching, and it made me a much better loan officer. And I'm forever grateful. I always look at it from the lens of people who coach in our business. These are people who typically have already succeeded at some level and decided that coaching was something that they were more passionate about, and they can help you not stumble on the same things that they stumbled on, and repeating the same mistakes that they mistake by skipping through that and teaching you how to avoid those things. So I always love looking at stuff like that because I think it's super helpful, especially even now I'm 11 years in. Every once in a while I jump on some coaching sessions just to make sure I'm sharp. So definitely good content there. And then for anyone that has a loan with me, as part of this portal, you're going to be able to get loan status updates. So you'll get real time milestone updates directly to your phone or computer. It'll tell you exactly what milestone the loan's in. That doesn't negate for my communication to you all. I always do updates for agents every Tuesday on every deal that's under contract. And then, of course, if there's necessary updates prior to that Tuesday, I do it as well. But this also shows this is basically a level of like oversight on me. I'm not a liar or anything, but you can hold me accountable, because you can see where the loan is. So I can't just say, hey, the loan's in underwriting if it's not. You're going to see exactly what status it is. So I actually think this is really cool. It provides peace of mind for the agents that use it. And I've actually noticed that those agents, are typically asking less questions on my Tuesday calls when I do the in-process calls, specifically because they have this information. If we ever co-host a buyer or some kind of workshop, part of my value add is that we'll promote it together. As I mentioned, I do have a team that does events, so if we're going to do something that's in person, we can absolutely hand that off to that team and have them do a lot of the legwork. But that's also going to include marketing. So we're going to promote it. We'll have QR codes. We'll have social media posts. We'll have all the things that we can push out there. I don't know if any of you have dabbled in Facebook advertising, but they can provide advice on how to advertise that in our area if you're trying to do something to meet the masses. I also do a lot of virtuals for these. A lot of agents actually prefer the virtual over the in-person. I think getting people out in person is always a very creative thing in this post-COVID era. It's not as easy as it used to be. So virtual has been something I've seen a lot of agents pivot to. And we could do it simply like a co-hosting, session, workshop where, you're, talking to everyone on the real estate piece, which is really why they're there. And then you bring me in to talk briefly on the mortgage side and get people pumped up for the fact that there's options for first-time home buyers and, there's down payment assistance and all the things. If we're doing a first-time home buyer workshop or so on and so forth. So I do a lot of these, and the idea is that when we do these together, that we've tag team these buyers, and they feel like they're super knowledgeable now on the real estate side. They're super knowledgeable on the lending side, and we feel when they leave that they're going to be happy to move forward whenever they are ready. So definitely happy to do those. So if you all have any that are in mind or you have something that you're already planning on and you would like to tag me in, just let me know and we can start planning it out. All right, so as I promised you all when we started, I did not have a ton for today, so this is the end of the slide. If you would like to go ahead and register for Agent Advantage, it's free. I guess I didn't mention that. There's no cost to you. It just gives you access for us to be able to go in and do all the flyers, for you all to have those CRM tools, the coaching stuff, all that I mentioned. You can scan the QR code here. I also have a little bit more time here since, of course, we're finishing early. So if any of y'all want to just kind of see what flyer options are available after a couple seconds here of leaving this on screen, I am going to pivot over to my browser so you can just kind of see what's out there. But does anyone have any questions for me from this presentation about any of the topics that I covered?
Nope, this is great. I'm registering now.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Well, let
Oh,
me
yeah.
let me just quickly show you guys. So, going back to the flyers. So we've got it's 1,346 flyers. Okay, so there's so much that has been thought of, that's been put into our marketing database, that they have all these tag categories because it's just so much. So going back to kind of what I was saying in the meeting, if there's something that you have in your mind that you think would be a value add for something that you're promoting, like I said, a listing or you go into a workshop or whatever, you name it, there's probably a flyer that we have that we can co-brand together for it. Just, for those scenarios, you can text or email me what you're specifically looking for or call, and then I'll get it built out for you.
Um,
But
where
here's
was
our
your
key.
where was your QR code? I didn't see that. I'm so sorry.
I just put it back on screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why can't I not see?
Yeah, the QR code, it goes to a Google form. The Google form will go to me, and then I will get you all an invite out that will send to your email. The Agent Advantage, it's going to have you put a headshot, your affiliate brokerage, obviously your first and last name, and your business address. And that way, every time we generate a flyer, it generates in seconds versus me having to key it in each individual time. So you'll have a little profile.
Um, Hold on. I can't get that. I don't know why. Um,
I can always send the link directly if that works easier. Let me
I
actually
I
see.
think that hold on one second.
I think it would be very helpful to have these individual property websites, and then like have it the QR code to put on your sign,
Yeah,
like as a sticker or whatever, a magnet or something, depending on if your sign's metal. But I think that would be
I,
very helpful.
I think that those single property websites are the coolest little things because, like I said, it's such an easy thing to generate, but it just shows an extra level for your sellers that you're putting not only on the MLS, not only on Zillow, but there's a dedicated website that can be attached to the listing, and it'll update every time you update things. So if you're doing a price drop, it will pull that in. And if you want to change the description, let's say you figured out that there was something that the house had that you didn't know when you first listed it, that's a benefit, we can always go back in and fix the description so that it'll highlight that. And as I mentioned, we can also, instead of just posting what you put on the MLS, we can actually change it up. So if you have strict guidelines that you have to keep to how you post in the MLS, but you want to do it a little different on this website, there's no oversight on this. So we can do however you want to.
Okay.
Anyone else
Thank
have any questions?
That was helpful. Thank you.
Of course. Well, I'm gonna post the video of this up on the Facebook like I always do. If anyone has any follow-up questions, you can always reach out to me. Um, does everyone have my number? Have a means of communicating with me?
Uh, no, what is your phone number?
It's seven. Here, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay.
That's my phone number. And then let me give you my link to everything. I don't know if you all use Linktree or not, but Linktree is like the coolest thing. It has.
What's the monthly fee for Linktree? Isn't there a month? Is there a monthly fee for that?
There's a free and then there's a fee version. I
Oh,
think
there is a
I'm
free
paying.
version?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm paying the $12 one.
Okay.
And I don't remember why I decided to go that because I've had this for like a year or so. But I remember for some reason I needed it and I decided to do the 12. But this is great stuff if you've got content and things like so. I have all my Tuesday recordings here and like a little slide, and then a couple podcasts that I did, and then a course of my links. And so when I send this to clients, when they want to get on my calendar, I always send them my link tree, and then they'll go to the calendar, but they'll also see all this other stuff too, which I think just makes me look a little bit more robust than maybe the next loan officer that they may talk to. And of course, for you all, from a real estate standpoint, that can help you as well when you're talking with clients. It just looks a little bit more professional, I think. There's other sites aside from Linktree, but I've just been a big fan.
Well, thank you, Ian.
Of course. Well, listen, I appreciate everyone jumping on. If anyone else has any questions, I'll hang out for a second. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Too.
Thank you.
Have a great Tuesday, guys.
Yeah, you as well, Calvin.